All right, we are doing a VOD review for Happy Friday, member in the Discord community, and you're also playing with some of the other people from Discord. So, Capon Convoy, one of my favorites. We're going to see how this goes. So you scouting? I like that you're up here to like get an advantage or get sort of a sights on like what's going on, but I do think you hung around a little too long. Also, like, if you're going to stay for one of Rocket's packs, you don't really need the 25 health too much. It does help, but like you really want the blue one. Those are really helpful.
Spider bots, watch your step. I'll patch you up. I'll be ship-shape in no time.
There you go. There you go. So the moment that you see anyone immediately try to contest that payload, especially if they're squishy, I want you to jump on them immediately and push them back, right? Your job is, as Cap, is to stall the payload on defense, but on offense, it's also to make sure that the payload has space to keep moving forward. And if it's ever stopped, I want you to go and start pushing and pressuring off whoever's on there, if you can. Sometimes that means attacking their support so that way they don't have heals and they back off. And sometimes it means pressuring the person directly on the payload. Okay, you are pressuring the front, which does allow the payload to move. That's what I mean. Stuff like that can help. There you go. There you go. That was good. You did get the pick on Invisible Woman, but also remember, like, you saw Cloak and Dagger use her little bubble heal. That meant that she was extremely weak. So in that moment, it might have been good to also like focus target her. The very first thing, the moment you saw that she didn't have it anymore.
That's the boost I needed.
Now you remember that Bucky was the one that you had killed first. There you go. Attack her. Show the position. Don't forget about her. Forget about her. Look around for her. Find her. There you go. What I like to see. When they use those abilities and they don't use them in a way where they're positioning poorly and they just kind of use them and then just hope for the best, if they're not positioned in a way where they can get up to some place where you can't reach, that is a free kill every single time. So that was a really good focus right there. Body block, body block, body block. Keep him in the door. Keep him in the door. Someone's on payload. Who's on the payload? I don't think that was too bad. Body blocking was sort of like the play that I would have gone for too. But the moment I would have seen the payload stop moving, I would have stopped and turned around and looked again to see why was it stopped, right?
Us against the world.
Well, you got both support ults. You can't do anything in this moment. Now you can. Yep. Good, good, good. Free kill. Nice. I mean, so far, this is all really, really good. Yep. Keep following up. You have people there. Where's the support? Where's the support? We're dead. Okay, get the venom off the payload. Keep going, keep going. Fly, just keep punching. There you go. You have health. Keep going. No, back up. Okay. Here, you were pushing them back. You can keep pushing them back as tank. One, you have your ult in case things get dicey. And two, you have a lot of health, right? You are pushing them back right now in this moment, right? And even though they're all there, you can just sort of keep pushing, right? Like worst case scenario, you hold your shield up and you have to bounce backwards this way. But you could be up here, you know, blocking the heals from coming in and pushing the supports and the squishies back, so that way the tank doesn't have support on his side. Because here you walk forward and then you walk back and you have full health. You don't need to walk back. I wasn't paying full attention. I wasn't sure if Rocket has his BRB station, but that is definitely something to look out for. Not sure about that all. Let's go back, actually. So here, Rocket ults. Yeah, I would just kind of get out of this situation. I think the ult is actually fine. But you see how much damage you're taking, like, not much you can do while rocket ult is up, so.
Sorry, soldier.
There you go. You have health.
How can a thunder god fall?
Disappear!
Enemy ahead. Prepare to engage. Stand down. I'll patch you up.
Heal. You are down to. Oh, your support's ulting. You're going in. Keep going, keep going. That was her push. So you jump on her. Stay on her. Oh, and this can kind of work too, but you're gonna die. Okay, couple of things. Right here. Invisible Woman pushes you. That means that her defensive ability to sort of keep her alive is gone. I would focus her first and foremost, because without that push to get you away, and you have your slam, you can jump in afterwards, slam on her, and then if she tries to get away, you should save your E to reveal her, right? Because like right here, you ignore her to go for the spider nest, which is not like the worst idea in the world, but something that you can do is you can punch Venom, get your shield throws up, and then you can hit the spider nest from range a little bit safer. So you can at least get it low before you try to jump in on it, try and destroy it, because spider nest blows you up.
All right. Don't rush in.
So far you've been playing well, but you got to remember now that, like, you know, they have a rocket, and if you haven't seen the res station in a little bit, then you want to go in, create chaos, you know, pull out resources, but also, like, get the rocket first. Yep. This is a problem. Okay, you live, but remember that you might have just accidentally hit him on the way out. Let me check. Let me make sure. No, there was the problem, is that your shield bash is not a great ability unless you know you're going to execute them with it. So save that shield bash for, like, getting out. Like, if you slam in, you want your shield bash to get out. Or if you shield bash in, you want your slam to get out, right? If you're up against tanks, a lot of times you want to jump over their head and, like, slam down. And if you're just around a bunch of squishies, you can just, like, slam back out. I use the slam out to get out, like I'd say like 90% of the time. But yeah, as Cap, you want to save those abilities. That way, at least you have, like, one escape. And when you know they have a rocket, you either want to kill him first or you want to go get the res station. Remember, even if you do damage to the res station, it will still increase the cooldown timer on it. So you want to like, sort of jump past him, cause chaos, get him to run away. And then when you find the res station, which is usually in a predictable spot, like this time it was in that room because we can see through the walls. That's the first place I would have checked, is just to see if it was there, and destroy that res station. Because if you destroy that, that's huge on your team, because then whatever pick you get is guaranteed. But yeah, you can see, like, right here how low you get. Imagine if you were up against a team that hit their shots better. If you had your shield bashed, you would have already bashed all the way out. Like right here in this situation, you can't do much because of Hela. There you go. No, in this situation, right? Their cloak and dagger is ulting, right? You aren't going to kill anything in here. You could charge your ultimate off of it, but since you can't kill anything anyway, I would immediately just go over here and try and find the res station, right? Whenever I see support ultimates go off in this game, the very first thing I do is I think to myself, what can I do to bring value, right? Can I, oh good, you got the cloak and dagger. I start immediately thinking about, like, what can I do to bring value? I can hit someone, like a tank, to charge my ultimate, but if I have a full ult, like, punching into them probably isn't going to do much of anything. Like, yeah, you can if there's nothing else to do. But things that are, you know, that can't be healed or whatnot, are things like, you know, Namor squids or rocket res station, stuff like that, where it's just like, okay, I'm just going to trust that my team is basically going to try and survive, and I'm going to go try and destroy the things that I can so I can still provide value without needing to, you know, necessarily try and go for a kill. Oh. Yeah, Wes, there's not much you can do there, but... Bash out, bash out, bash out. I think you tried to, but then you got...
You think I'm too old
You
for
got
this?
webbed, unfortunately. Right now, I think what I'm seeing is there's a lot of like sort of hesitation like this right here. We are waiting for the Wolverine though. Like even here, you could be walking up and doing something like punching the penny and then hitting those long range shield shots on the penny bot to try and destroy it. Here you're going for the flank. Miss it. I think now you're looking maybe for the res station. Like right here, I still would have stayed on the back line. I don't think that there was anybody there that could have like hurt you, right? You still could have caused chaos and try to pull them back. Because like right now, a whole lot of nothing is happening, and you have health. Just keep pulling out those resources. Be active. There you go. There you go. You're not gonna kill anything in this bubble. As you can see, like Cloak and Dagger is still full health. If she's standing in that bubble, if you don't have another teammate immediately in there to follow up, try to get the people who are outside of the bubble or go follow up on what your team is doing, right? Because if we look back in that same situation, right? Let's say you have your shield slam and you see the bubble, right? The moment you see the bubble and you're like, oh, I can't kill her now. What can I do, right? I can attack the rocket. I can try and destroy the penny bot thing. I can go try and follow up and like guard for my team. I think Hella might. Yeah, Hella steps outside of this. You should immediately be looking towards her. You see how this entire time you were punching both their supports, and both of them are still full health, right? Up until the point that like now your team is following up. Should really figure out. Remember F11. Okay. Good follow up. See how fast like. Good job. See how quickly that you can follow up on like what your teammates are doing and provide that extra little damage that you do provides a lot of burst. That's what you kind of want to do as cap a lot of times is find those people that where either their cooldowns are down and you can jump on them and you can execute them, or you can jump on someone, pull out their cooldowns, and when they're out, either jump on them again to finish the job off, or you pull back and go fight someone else, right? Like if I jump on like a Loki and I pull out his totems and you know, I'm not going to sit there just punching totems repeatedly, waiting until I get a chance to kill him. A lot of times I'll jump in, pull out the totems, turn around, and then jump back and jump on whoever my team is fighting. Because then I can get a lot more value by just constantly jumping and moving around. Rather than, you know, specifically just punching the same target over and over again. Like you really want to like maximize your efficiency as much as possible of just constantly like asking yourself, like, am I getting value right now? Like, what am I providing? Am I a distraction? Am I pulling resources? You want to always be doing something. If you have health, you have cooldowns, you want to do something. This is good. Yep. There you go. Yep. You're keeping them from accessing the point. This is good. You want to survive this as much as possible. Iron Man has ulted her so many times. Really good. You might want to ult. Yep. So here, you see him low. Oh wait, you didn't have ult. Never mind. I'm crazy. Bring value, bring value, bring value. Your team is there. There you go. Hit that. There you go. No, you're good. You're good. You still have slam. You still have punch. You gotta remember, like, as long as you have like slam and you have shield bash to get out, you're relatively safe. And you want to like, you know that like while the enemy team's rocket ult is up, you can't kill anything, right? Like your teammates can't kill anything. So you know that that has got to go. So you try to get rid of that as fast as possible. And if it gets dicey, then dash out or jump to a health pack. This is good. I personally like to save my shield bash for the execute. There, you saw Cloak and Dagger's bubble's gone, right? What are we doing? Go for the Cloak and Dagger. Go for the Cloak and Dagger. You're stalling for time, which isn't bad, but you can stall for the time and also be punching the supports who are on the payload at the same time. Like, and you had seen Cloak and Dagger's bubble was on the ground previously to that. And when you saw that, that was your opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to jump on this one.
Enemy ahead. Prepare to engage.
There you go.
Don't drown.
Bring value, bring value. Okay.
We're in this together. You never seen trees like this on Krakoa.
That was good. And now that your team is here, now you're pushing forward and creating that space. This is what this right there. Wait, we're going back again. This is what I'm talking about, where like you go forward and you create space, and then you back up. Just keep pushing them back, right? You don't need to be on the payload. Your supports do. Everyone else needs to be walking forward right now, and you want to try and keep them from accessing the payload as much as possible, right? So while this payload is moving up, Rocket can shoot orbs from afar. Whoops. Rocket can shoot orbs from afar, so he doesn't really need to be up close with everyone. You can be up here, holding this space and pressuring them back and pulling out resources, and trying to keep them from accessing the point as quickly as possible. And that's ultimately what your whole team should be doing. So yeah, we're going for it now, but like there was the time where you push forward, you were on the other side of the wall, and then it capped, and you backed up, and then walked forward again. Like, if your team is good, and you'd be like, since you're talking with people that are also in the Discord, you'd be like, hey, everyone good? Yeah, all right, I'm pushing forward, right? Because as long as you have this ability and this ability, you can get out.
Careful. We've got a can't beat battlefield medicine.
I think that penny bot has made you afraid. And now you don't have any ability to get out in case you wanted to, so... And it ultimately doesn't, like, you see how it doesn't really do a whole lot, right? Unless you can get an execute on a solo target with that. That ability is better to use as mobility and as, like, an escape than it is to use as, like, trying to do extra damage. Because doing it into a group of people doesn't do anything. Pick a target outside of... Alright. You could just be trying to pick the, invisible woman, or... do ult charge, but like, look, you turn to your right and there's a Hela outside of the ult. That's who you need to be targeting, but you're hitting the people who are inside of the ult. There you go. There you go. You are not going to do enough damage to really kill someone inside of an invisible woman ult, so you want to try and attack the people who are outside of the ult. Attack the people inside the ult if you don't have ults and you're, or there's really like nothing else left to do. Go block him in the doorway. Go watch the doorway. Yeah, you're very unsure of where to be. As a tank, you are commanding and controlling that space. So what you need to do is be right up in like their spawn door, trying to keep them from accessing the payload. There's been a bunch of times here where you've walked forward and back and forward and back, and you're kind of making up your mind as to like where you want to be, right? Let's see. So here you're on payload. You don't need to be on payload. You go back, go around, you jump down, and you go left, and then you go back, right? You went in this whole figure here, right? And instead of being there, during that time, watch from here now. This will be interesting. Oh, we can see from you from over here too. Watch. As you're running here, right? Look, Rocket's walking out for free. Right? You're still moving around. And Penny gets to set up her bot for free. Right? Imagine if you were here, you were pressuring them early and keeping them from walking out and set this up for free. Especially given the fact that this like is a huge pain in the butt for you to deal with. Like once you have that space and once you get those kills, you want to keep that space. You want to keep them from being able to get into position to set up for the next fight. And what you did is because you had so much like wasted time being unsure where to go, they were able to walk out and set up, and now you have to deal with that spider bot that's there. You can't kill anything in here, so what can you do, right? You can charge your ults, Like right now, you're just breaking your shield. You don't really have to be on the point because there's still time. Like don't stand in the don't stand in there taking extra damage if you don't have to. You know they have a rocket, right? Which means whoops. Which means there's of course a res station. There's this that you can destroy that's outside of that was outside of the cloak and dagger ult, but now that they've rocketed ulted like this, you can actually break. So moving to destroy this is the right idea. Keep punching it, keep punching it.
Keep fighting it.
Don't die, don't die.
It's spider time!
I know it's overtime, so there's really not much you can do here, but you get really low and he got the health back over there. Like with that hella ult and like the overtime timer there, personally what I would have done is I would have tried to get to safety somewhere, like maybe in here or something, and then like waited out as long as the ult as of the hellas as I could as possible. Like I would have tried to find some way to hide and then like jump back out at the last second because of the fact that if you take a bunch of damage and you die, then you can't hold the point at all. So it's better to like let the timer run out than it is to stand on it and risk dying because of the fact that like once again, if you die, you can't defend the objective anyway.
Just in the nick of time.
So now, yeah.
Time!
Crush the spiders from afar.
And she killed you right when the ult ended.
The fat lady isn't singing yet. Coming through.
Your team doesn't hold. No. You stalled this out? I'll be darned. No way. Yeah, this is actually a good play because you're not going to be able to kill anything with the entire team there. All you're doing is stalling for time. You can't because you can't kill anybody. The best thing you can do is take out the inanimate, non-live objects like the penny bot,
That's the boost I needed.
right? Stand in the bubble. This is when I'd be communicating with my team, like, okay, someone on payload, like, say yes, and I'll jump on them. Like, you saw Cloak and Dagger's bubble, right? So now that you saw Cloak and Dagger's bubble, who should you be targeting? Whenever you see support ultimates like this pop out, by the way, and you know that nothing is going to die, this is your free opportunity to try and throw your shield to get the shield bounce while the ult is going on, like as soon as possible, because of the fact that you'll just at least charge your ult off of it, because
The current score is
if you do it like at the start of the ult, then like by the time it comes off of cooldown, the enemy support ult will be down.
including which side you're on. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
So that was pretty good. I think that there is just moments of like trying to remember to recognize when there are people out of position, and when people have wasted their cooldowns and not losing track of them, kind of like how you did with Cloak and Dagger on the first point after the second time, as you saw like her use her bubble and she faded away and you didn't lose track of her, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna get her, right?
It feels good to step
Those are the
outside my
moments
bubble
that you
every
want to
now
like
and
look
then.
for as like a dive tank, because you want to target those heroes that have made a mistake. You want to jump in, pull out a resource on someone, and as soon as they're wasting their time, or you find you're wasting your time and they're wasting your time by like dropping a bubble, like Cloak and Dagger dropping a bubble down on herself and just like 1v1ing you, like you can't kill her in that, right? So the moment she does that, just leave and go someplace else. Follow up and punch somebody that your teammates are punching, or jump on the next support, right? Because if you pull out as many of those abilities and many of those cooldowns as possible, it'll make your fights for your teammates a lot easier, right? So
The battle
try to
starts in
find and
5,
maximize that efficiency
4,
during the battles as
3,
much as you can.
2, 1.
And don't be unsure, especially after you've won a team fight, to go up and start like, commanding that space and blocking people from coming out. Because if you have won the fight, by the time you push up and try to meet them, you'll have your cooldown, so you can get out. Like you are a hyper mobile tank. So being able to go up there and just like hold them at the door for as long as possible It makes it easier, and then it makes it more difficult because then when they do come out, they kind of have to like rush, and when they're in that rush state, they don't get a chance to really like plan or set up. Save your shield bounce for Invisible Woman when she double jumps, so that way you can reveal her.
I'll be ship-shaping
I personally found a lot of luck with using my shield bounce as like a last maneuver or last ability to sort of execute someone. I do like that you're just stalling this out. Like, you don't need to do much of anything else. Oh. Pushing him back, which is good. Oh, your team is dead. See, that Hella I just saw was like popping off in the top right. When you see a person popping off like that, you can then make it your mission to make that person's job very difficult, right? Like if you notice that one DPS is outperforming the others and it's something like a Hella and you can jump on that Hella, you can repeatedly jump on that Hella to make it very difficult for them to actually secure anything. So it's not just about jumping on the supports. You can also jump on like the DPS and be like, no, 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 no. I know that if I let you get into position, you're going to kill my team. So I'm not going to let you do that again. This was one of those moments where you could see that your entire team basically died to her. And you'd be like, oh, I'm going to not let you do that again. Right here, if you're going to be waiting around, you could probably still get the health pack and get like to full. Because there is one over here. I'm not sure if people know about that, but yeah, I would have like gone to get that one and gotten to full health. So that way I could walk back out there and stall the point for even longer. And I just would have gone out and like danced around the point, wiggled back and forth, and then ran to the health pack and continued to stall for my team. Because like right now, this is good. That part is good, but like also like look how far that payload was able to move up, right? Oh, we gotta go back extra far. Extra far. Okay. So payload is here. Rocket ult's still going. Wait till that runs out. There we go. Watch as like other people are going to push forward. You have some people on the point, but nonetheless, like because you're cap and you can be a huge pain in the butt, I personally would have tried to like go out here and after grabbing the health pack to get to full, gone out to at least like even slow it down, stall it a little bit more. And then once I realized that like I was taking too much damage from Hella or they were, you know, I wasn't going to be able to stall any longer, I would have gone in this room, grabbed the health pack, and gone back up and grabbed this health pack. And by this time, then my team is rolling up. But the payload would have at least like been stopped a little bit. When you get to like really high elo and people don't miss their shots and there's a bunch more damage coming out, you might not be able to do that as much. But like here, I personally would have done it. I do appreciate, though, that like you engaged at around the same time that your teammates were engaging. So they were very much distracted on the back line. That was actually like really good, I think, like coordination. There we go. Who's outside of the ult or who can you hit to punch to charge up? You hold your shield up a lot at times where you don't necessarily need to. Hold your shield up when you need to reflect something or when you're predicting to take damage. Right now, you're just holding up like preemptively.
Back in the fight.
Going to get health back and then coming back out. This works.
We might actually need Loki.
But you also should be like I said, like when you see the enemy support all go off and you can't kill anybody, then you can at least be charging your ult. So you just kind of like really want to maximize that efficiency by doing more during that time of, at the very least, like charging your ult up. Here you're stalling, but like you have the advantage. You need to be punching. Like with your supports and stuff there, like you need to follow up. Like right there would have slammed the penny. You're taking the fight around the payload, which is good, which means that they're not able to push it. But then also you want to try and weave in that damage because like right now you're jumping and you're stalling, but you want to kill some people now.
The numbers aren't in our favor.
Jumping and stalling you want to do to like stall for time when you need it. But when your team is there, you want to be trying to secure those picks. And it is smart to take the fight around the payload because then it keeps it from moving. But like right here, you have your ult. Yeah, you did need to ult probably to stay alive just in case. I don't think that was a bad play. But like right here, you're jumping, you're not slamming, you have your dash. Like, you're just not sure exactly like what to do. And that's the thing is like when you do the cap strategy where you're stalling the payload out as long as possible, it means it gives your team what it's supposed to do is give your team more fights. You're supposed to have more fights to try and win where the enemy team would only get like, where you might get 2 or 3 fights to try and take first point. The enemy team might need 4 or 5, right? But during that time that when your team is up and they're active, you need to maximize that efficiency by doing more damage, pulling more resources, and just ultimately being more effective. Like right now, you heard your Cloak and Dagger ult, which means it's time to hard engage. I think you could have done that with just a slam, but you're, is what it is now. It's a good totem.
Only 60 seconds left.
Can't leave the point. Punch, 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 punch. There you go. There you go. There you go. See, that's what your team needs. Is they need that punching, that follow-up when they're doing stuff.
That's better.
There you go. Now you have supports on the payload. You don't need to be there. You can push up.
Down to 30 seconds.
Take the space. Once your team is there and they've held that objective, then you can push up to keep them from accessing it, right? Going back to peel. This is good. This is good. Recognizing that Venom was there. Good call. I would have kept punching personally. Like, maybe.
I'll be ship-shape in no time.
Yeah, I just would have kept punching. The Cloak and Dagger wasn't playing like she was nervous for some reason. I'm not sure. And the shields weren't being blocked by the or the Venom hits weren't being blocked by the shield anyway. So it's just like the faster you punch him and do damage, either the faster he dies or the faster he retreats.
We got a robot infestation.
There you go. There's a lot of time where you're just like holding the shield up, but I want to ask you, like, what are you doing right now, right? Like, you have health. Are you trying to reflect something, or like what's going on here, right? Like punch, 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 punch. You have health. Use it. Rocket ult is keeping everyone alive. Now it's bad. Ah. I will say that you get blown up rather quickly here, so it's really hard to say like what to do, but like punch, 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 punch. Like right here, I notice I'm like you're sort of having trouble figuring out like what exactly what to do and where to go. They have a rocket, an invis woman, and the moment I heard that the rocket ult pop up, I would have started going up to try and destroy the rocket ult because nothing will die in it. You're down 1, you're down 2, you're down 3. It's time to leave. Yeah. Ah! So already I have a pretty good idea of what you can do to do better, which is just learning how to maximize that efficiency. Got a flyer. Yep. Ooh. Probably could have ulted to save him there, but because you were going to the point anyway, and I'm not sure if you have allied health bars on, but you should. The moment that you see that, ult. Yeah. And then you shield bash in. Because if you would have ulted and then like uh walked through him, then he would have gotten the shield and the speed boost and he could have stayed alive. And I assume that's what you're going to do down here anyway. Yep. Yeah, and then you die in Captain America ult, which is as you, I think you said that this is the first time you learned maybe that could happen. Like Captain America ult is not as strong as like a support ult. You can die in it if you get hit with enough damage quickly enough. And what Penny had done there is webbed you to keep you still for just a second, that they bursted through the regenerating shield.
Maximum pulse.
It's really unfortunate. Throw your shield, charge your ult. Throw your shield, charge your ult. There you go. You hold on to it too long. When you don't have an ult and you know that you're not going to use the shield bounce for like an execute or to try and like reveal Invisible Woman or something like that, just throw it out off cooldown and try to charge that ult up as fast as possible again, right? This is maximizing efficiency, right? It's great to use it to reveal Invisible Woman so you can execute her, but it's also great to use it to just bounce in between 3 people to get a good amount of ult charge right off the bat. And, you know, then by the time the ult runs out, you can throw the shield down again and get more ult charge, right? Yeah, it's gotten dark in here. Okay. Here, grab the health pack. Good. You're a little low, a little nervous. Yeah, you're taking a little bit extra damage there. You don't need to. I think you're feeling like you have to make a play. He goes in. Oh. Yeah, you're taking damage. I am... This electrifying ring here, I believe, is... go to Storm. She pressed E. Which means that everything in that ring is suddenly going to take bolts of lightning for staying in. If you aren't getting actively healed, you're going to die. And now it's off a cooldown, right? You kind of want to wait to engage, even if it's like the last second. This is kind of going back to like that Hella thing I was talking about, right? Where when you are worried that it might kill you, you don't want to walk out into it, right? You don't want to try and give it a second and jump out at the last possible second, right? Because like if this gets to point, you know, 0.7 meters and you jump on, it's still not capped, right? So even if that buys you 1 or 2 extra seconds, maybe that's one less lightning bolt that you get hit by that allows you to stay alive. And so that way your supports can heal you and you can stay out there for longer, right? You want to maximize your efficiency and minimize the amount of damage that you're taking.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Go push up and help your team get out. I like this. I like this. Going to stall, I think.
Sorry, soldier. Right behind you.
That's fine. I think here you land here, and if you're going to slam your shield down on anywhere, try to slam it down onto someone. Like you don't have to use it to engage, right? Like you could just walk down and fall onto the payload and keep it from moving. So that way you have that ability in case you wanted to get out or in case you wanted to use it for something else, right? If you're going to use the ability, try and make sure it's used to its maximum efficiency, because like getting there, you know, half a second sooner doesn't really yield you a whole lot of value. Whereas like, you know, if it hits the Invisible Woman, it's better. Maybe that's what you're aiming for. Maybe you expected her to back up. So I could be totally wrong here. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure that if you're going to use it to like slam down onto someone and create that sort of pressure. But if it's just to get through the payload faster, it doesn't matter. Because now, like, yeah, you can shield bash out. But you might still want to be able to make sure that you can maximize those cooldowns by making sure they're used to the best of their abilities. And you're not always going to be right, right? Like no one's perfect 100% of the time. But what helps people climb is knowing how to get the most amount of value out of their abilities and their ultimates the best they can. Because that will just make your games a lot easier instead of just like going out there without a plan and just throwing it out there. You're right here. They're pushing up the payload for free still. There we go. Let's contest it. Grab the health back. This is good. This is good. That's good. Knowing that like Penny was ulting and destroying the Penny bot so that way it doesn't I think her mind's like lead through her ultimate. Like I think it's the right play. Right now, you have Invisible Woman ult that was up that whole time, right? And as soon as you destroy that, now you want to start looking for like what else you can bring value out of, right? So you go back. You're not going to kill the Penny, right? And the payload's not moving anyway. Just stay with the payload. And you have the Invisible Woman ultimate here, right? You should be playing very aggressive in that moment, looking to see like what you should do after this, right? Because to me, first thing I saw was there's a rocket to your left that was damage boosted, right? And then you turn around and you go towards the tank, but it's like, what are you going to do to the ulting Penny, right? Like, what are you going to do that really needs to be done? We're already contesting the payload, right? But rocket is right there. You're in Invisible Woman ult. This is free, right? That's what you need to do in order to like improve as like playing cap or playing dive tanks is finding those targets and changing that target priority. Because in that split second, you could have immediately jumped on that rocket and he would be dead already. Like he eventually dies, but it's like you want to make sure that everybody is dead as soon as possible the moment they step out of position. That's what being a good dive hero is like looking at those people who are out of position and every second you can just jumping on each person who's made a mistake. Like right here, yeah, chase after her. You're holding sprint down, right? The whole time? Like you're always holding it down? Because I feel like you should be catching up to targets, but I feel like you're not for some reason. Like, I could be wrong, but just let me know after this, like in Discord, like if you're holding down shift to sprint the entire time. Because basically, you should always be holding down shift to sprint. Like your pinky should never let go off of it. Because that's how you animation cancel. Where are we going? Are we hiding and waiting? You are close to ult. So I'm sure you probably wanted to live here, which is good, but like you have shield bounce up, right? You hear feel the wrath of the goddess. I would have thrown that shield. Even though I only hit one person, I would have thrown the shield immediately and gotten more ult charge, knowing I was so close to ult. And then you get out. You run back really far, and I don't think you need to run back this far. You see Rocket there. What are you going to do? You heard the res station. You heard him throw the res station. So you heard him throw the res station. I personally, like, knowing that the payload still had that far to go, like, I would have gone through here and, like, gotten the res station and then jumped on the payload to try and stall it out. Because then, like, then my team would have hopefully been, like, regrouped by then. Because, yeah, that res station might totally mess your team up later. 30 shield, charge your ult, charge your ult. Like there, I think he probably staggered its time by hitting it and doing a little bit of damage to it. Nope, not even. Unfortunate. 30 shield, 30 shield, 30 shield. Charge your ult, charge your ult, charge your ult.
Maximum pulse.
Hey, there we go. Nice job, Bevo. Good. Yeah, this is fine. I see you're a little bit more cautious of the penny spider bots now. That's just smart. You're good still. They're down one. So you should be playing super aggressive on everybody.
Final 10 seconds.
Like right here, especially knowing that they are down one and you are in a 6v5, like you spend too much time like jumping around. And like now is the time that you need to do damage. You need to be applying pressure and you need to be trying to push them back. Like uh Cap is great at stalling, but stalling is because of the fact that you want to bring out as many fights as possible and you want to try and reduce the number of fights that you need to win, right? Now, knowing you have that numbers advantage and Penny is down, which is like your one hard counter, you need to jump on the enemy team and start applying a lot more pressure. Because like right now, you punch in the air and then you jump in, you dash in, and then you dash back out with not full health, but mostly full health. Right? And now your team is doing stuff and you need to be following up on that. Like Bucky's gonna die. Yeah. Remember when I in my support videos when I say like when you hear somebody like a DPS ulting, like you need to pocket him because that's your win condition, right? Bucky gets his ult off of resets, following up on whatever he's doing was your win condition. And like he died, and if you would like have followed up with him, knowing that he dove in, you could have jumped in front and seen that like, oh, okay, now he's going to immediately try to back out because he realized he made a mistake. You could have been using your shield to help him get out of that situation. Unfortunately, Invisible Woman ult came out afterwards. Good kill.
Looks good on you, Tony.
Kill, kill, kill.
Here comes the living legend.
Final score 2-2.
Okay.
3.
So this was a game that you won, but it was
Another epic victory.
it was a little close for comfort. Your biggest flaws is you played too passive and you're too unsure. Stalling is good because it does give your team more fights, but you need to be much more active in those fights and getting those executes and pulling out those kills. You didn't die very much, which is good, but also at the same time, like even the deaths that you did die from, I think some of them could have been avoided. And yeah, a lot of the times like you spend too much time being unsure where to go, and like that thunk sound that you hear from Captain America's shield is one of the most satisfying noises in the world to me. So like you want to be hearing that as often as possible. Like you want to be sprinting into people, punching repeatedly, just thunk, 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 thunk. Like I don't want you to ever stop punching, essentially. Like the only time you're stalling is when you are trying to stall to buy yourself time and buy your team time to come back so they can come back to the point and to the fight. But your problem is like once the fight is started, you're very unsure as to where to go. And part of that is recognizing who has made a mistake, who's standing out of position, and what resources you can pull. Because if you jump on Cloak and Dagger and she bubbles, walk away. Go find the Invisible Woman. You jump on Invisible Woman right afterwards and she pushes you away, great. Go right back to Invisible Woman right afterwards. And you just kind of like, you can keep doing that over and over again. Or you jump on, Rocket and you can hold your shield up and block his heals from coming in. Or you can hold your shield up and block Invisible Woman heals from coming in. Like, or you hear support ults go off and you can shoot the rocket BRB station, right? There's all of these things where you want to try and always be asking yourself, like, am I getting value right now, right? Like, am I providing something to my team? Am I helping out? Because there's a lot of times where you were just sort of kind of existing and your team was doing stuff. But when your team is doing stuff and you see your team doing a bunch of actions, like it's also your job to recognize I should be doing something as well, right? And using that hypermobility to sort of get yourself in there and jump on whatever your team is doing. Learning when to recognize those situations of who's out of position, who you can follow up on, like who you can attack with your team, or what resources you can pull to help your team. That's going to be what you need in order to sort of climb a little bit higher. Because yeah, like your ability to stay alive is really good. Your stalling, giving yourself more time is great, but Now I think your thing is like you need to fight. Like that's the area where I want you to push yourself to the limits is, recognizing when you need to fight and how long you can fight for and then still survive, right? So yeah, that's what I want you to practice doing. Just being more aggressive when your team is being aggressive. Like when your team is there and you're grouped up and you're fighting, I want you to see how many times you can hear a thunk. Like, I don't want to know like damage per 10. I want to know thunks per 10. Like that's what I want to know for cap. But yeah. Give that a shot and let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions, because you're active in the Discord, I've seen you there, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll try to, clear up anything I might have missed. But yeah, just be more aggressive. Have no fear. And, as long as you have like your dash or your slam to get back out, I want you just to keep punching and attacking up until the point you get low and then jump, turn around and slam out. And I want you to slam back out after punching a bunch of people a bunch of times. I want you to have like 50 health, right? If you get really good at doing that, like, you're going to see a night and day difference, I think, in terms of like your gameplay and how much more you can carry. But yeah, that's all I got for right now. You did really good. It's Convoy. Cap on Convoy is always the best. And yeah, once again, thanks for submitting. And if you have questions, let me know.